Welcome to Collaboration Conversations. I'm your host, Regina Partain, CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. I am delighted. I got to tell you, folks, this is one of the most fun things I do in my life is get to host this show and meet all of these amazing people. And so today, once again, I am delighted to bring you an amazing guest co-host. My guest co-host today is Joye Germany. Welcome, Joy. Thank you for being guest co-host today.
And thank you for having me and my friends.
Oh, I'm delighted. I can't wait to meet them all and learn more about them. Joy has a bachelor's in, or yeah, a BS in accounting, and she is the founder and CEO of Enjoye Enterprises. And I love how she spells that, by the way. Joy, would you please share with us a bit about your journey getting to this place, who you serve, and why that's important to you?
Sure. I'm also a licensed CPA, and I've worked for a lot of Fortune 500 companies over the last 35 years. And in the last 5 years, I have been thinking about coming back to being self-employed on my own. Some years back, I had a real estate mortgage business before the bust happened back in 2008, and then I came back into accounting. But recently, I wasn't feeling. I loved my job; it was a great job, paid great and everything else, but I just wasn't happy because I felt like I had a message that I wanted to share with others to maybe encourage them to do exactly what they wanted to do in life. So, as I said, the name of my company is Enjoy, and I like people to enjoy themselves and to be happy about life and happy what they're doing. And I personally have found happiness in going after my own passion. And I feel the same way about all of my friends that are here. They've all taken that step to live life on their own terms, which is my new saying. And that's why I'm here. So I'd like the chance to introduce them to you now.
Please do. And
Okay.
have them share a bit about their journey, who they serve, and why.
Yes, please do. Dr. Sharnita and I met at a Grant Holmes, that's somebody I used to work with, Grant Cardone and Pete Vargas event.
Yeah.
And she has just written a book herself, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about herself.
So I serve two different groups. So I just wrote a book and it will be out Friday on Amazon. And it is called Shattered Peach 12 Steps to Transition from Victim to Victorious. And this population is very important to me because we're looking at people who have experienced trauma. I myself was a victim, and now I'm a thriver of being sexually molested as a child. And we have many people who have been molested, sexually abused as children and as adults, and they don't know where to start. They're admitting that they've been abused because of the Me Too movement, but they don't know what to do or have any steps of what's next. So my dynamic book is just powerful, will help them along the journey to healing. And I also, since Joy and I have seen each other, have started um, a workforce solutions business called Reassured Workforce Solutions with my sister. And what we do there is we bridge the gap between cybersecurity and healthcare with all of the breaches occurring. Our passion is patient outcomes, patient safety, and patient satisfaction. So we want to help secure the cybersecurity infrastructures in healthcare, as well as place healthcare professionals at the bedside.
I'm so proud of
Love
her.
it.
Thank you, and thank you for this opportunity, Joy. You have been on fire since we have met, and I just absolutely love it. Thank you.
You are so welcome, and thank you for joining us. And Mr. Ivor, I met him too at Grant Cardone, and then he followed me to Wisconsin. Well, he didn't follow me, but we followed and we went to Wisconsin together and became the greatest of friends as well. And he lives in the New York, New Jersey area, and I'll let him tell you more about himself and his business.
Well, thank you both for having me as your guest this afternoon, evening. My name is Ivor Lane. I'm president and founder, uh, actually, of an investment firm. It's called Intrinsic Wealth Strategies. The reason for the name Intrinsic is because what's intrinsically possible for individuals. I've come across over the years that many people perceive wealth as being on the other side. They're wealthy, I'm not. He is wealthy, she's wealthy, I'm not. And my understanding of having the ability to grow yourself exponentially, intrinsically, is what's possible, what's optimum. Hence the reason intrinsic wealth strategies, because we all ought to have a team, a plan, and a strategy. It's not just, doesn't happen by osmosis. But as a result of being in this industry, I tend to focus on working with individuals, whether they're business owners, entrepreneurs, or execs. And this conversation of collaboration could not be more appropriate for what this profession does, because there are legal components that have to be addressed. There are tax components that have to be addressed. And as a result, collaborating helps to bring winning possibilities for those individuals. So I've been in the industry for over 25, over 30 years. I don't like to count the years that many anymore. It means I'm getting much older, but it has been a joy and a pleasure. A Joy, not a Joye. It's more a pleasure. But yes. And thank you again, everyone, for having me partake in this.
Awesome. Thank
All
you.
right. And so we'll move over to Dr. Lasantha Naidu. And I also, as I said, I met her through our celebrity entrepreneur adventure with Clint Arthur. And she's a doctor as well here in Texas, Regina.
Okay.
Regina is in Houston, Lasantha.
Okay.
I'll let you tell about your practice and what you're in the process of doing.
Sure. So I'm Dr. Lasantha Naidu. I'm a concierge family medicine physician. I also am board certified in integrative and holistic medicine and obesity medicine, and I really integrate all of that into my practice. I am also the author of a book which actually launches today called Fat to Fabulous. And it really outlines my life journey and how that has shaped my successes now, but also my health journey and how I practice medicine. And my goal is to bring the awareness of wellness globally, not just to people who are wealthy and not just, I think that's a myth that you have to be wealthy to be healthy. And so I try and teach the basic principles of wellness.
Excellent. Congratulations on your book also.
Congratulations.
And last but not least is my Dr. Miranda. Miranda and I got to spend time together in Acapulco, as well as Dr. Lasantha. We were in Acapulco together doing some training and so forth. And she's an avid runner. And because of that, she got to meet somebody very famous while we were there. But I'll let you tell her story.
Yes. Hey, Joy. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, I am an avid runner. I'd love to run. I love to be active because it's a really important part of your life and staying healthy. But I'm a nurse practitioner, and I've been one now since 2016. Been in healthcare since 1999. So I've been around. And I actually got introduced to healthcare when I was a young child, when my mother was sick. She was dealing with lots of depression and anxiety, and she also had the debilitating disease of multiple sclerosis. And so we were in and out of the hospital with her. They're trying to figure out how to help her. And, as a child, you see that, and it's, it kind of, you at least for me, it was kind of a moment that I thought, I want to do this. I want to help people. And as I started practicing, I realized there were a lot of women who weren't getting the answers they needed when they come in with depression or anxiety. And most of these women were in their 30s and 40s. And I realized, oh my gosh, this is just exactly like what my mom went through. And, in traditional medicine, there's not a lot of time spent on treating menopause and perimenopause. I think I had like maybe an hour or two lecture on it. And I saw a way for me to be able to help people, because I was seeing that what we were doing in traditional medicine just wasn't working. Throwing a prescription antidepressant or a sleeping pill, we just weren't seeing results. And I realized my mother had a missed opportunity to have help with her perimenopausal symptoms when she was going through her ups and downs with mood swings and really bad depression. And I just really, it's become my life passion to help women and men to navigate the aging parts of their lives and how your body changes and your chemistry changes. And so that's how I started doing integrative and functional medicine. And now I run my own practice, Astro Health and Wellness, where we focus on getting to the root cause of what's going on with someone when they come in with a complaint. We're not just like throwing a Band-Aid at it. We're really looking to see why. What's the toxic burden? What are your vitamin nutrition deficiencies? Or what kind of lifestyle do you live? What kind of foods are you putting into your body? All of those things are so important. And, in traditional medicine, we really don't have the time to spend with somebody to get all of that information. So it's really been enjoyable for me to do that. And, collaborating with all the people I've met through Clint and also my mentor, Deb, it's just been fabulous. I would say everybody needs to collaborate in order to grow and build your practice and be able to do the things you want to do. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. What a great group that you've brought together here today, Joy. I'm excited to see where this conversation goes. So as I've listened to you, I've heard two basic areas of health. One is financial health and the other is physical health, right? So how can we as professionals in these industries, these two industries, collaborate to help people achieve success in both of those areas? Because let's face it, if you're in a poor financial situation, your health is going to be impacted because your nutrition is impacted, right? You're not getting the foods and the nutrition that you need, that impacts your health, but your finances are a big part of the cause of that. So how can these two industries particularly, collaborate together to help people have that success? And feel free to just share your thoughts and we'll just have a conversation here.
I'll chime in.
Awesome.
I think that's a fantastic question, and actually one that I've faced and tackled a little bit very early in my career, because as a resident, a big challenge or a big excuse that I heard from patients was, I cannot eat that way because I'm on food stamps or I don't make the money. And, I heard that a lot, but I also saw a lot of weaves, which are very expensive nails, iPhones, and things like that. And I think, your point is there's an illiteracy both ways. We don't know how to manage the money, but we also don't know how to manage the health. And so one of the things that I did, and this was 10 years ago or 12 years ago, was I would bring in a family and have what's your budget for the week? I would do the shopping. I cooked a meal for them and made them a meal plan for their entire week. And to demonstrate that this is within your budget for your family, how you could make healthier choices. And, to a point of, yes, you can still buy organic, but buy what's on sale. And maybe you're not buying the fresh, maybe you're buying canned instead, or frozen that lasts a lot longer. And, or perhaps you do this and you keep it for 2 weeks and, it lasts 2 weeks and you're not having to spend as much next week and you can budget your money, for something else. But I think it is vitally important to, as a society, I think we struggle with wealth management as well as health management. And I do think that's a fantastic point that we need to start bridging that gap.
And I totally agree with that concept, but you do also have to think about a lot of areas, especially urban areas. There's a lot of food deserts in these areas. People don't have transportation to even get to places like Whole Foods. There's no Sprouts around, and public transportation really do not take them out to the locations where to get this food, the food that they need to be healthy. So they have to buy what's convenient. And then if you go into the grocery store, the first aisle that as you walking in, the first aisle that you see, if I go into a store in my neighborhood right now, it's sweets, it's cakes, cupcakes, and all, and that. So that is what's going to attract them, especially if they have children with them. And they're going to say okay to that child because they want to make it through the store without the child having a temper tantrum. And
Well,
as far as
how do we combat that though? Do we have discussions with the grocery distributors? I mean, how do we combat that? Is there a way that we could, kind of help in this struggle?
I'm not absolutely sure, Joy, if there is a way to combat it, but conversations with the owners of the store, really what they're worried about is their bottom line.
True.
That's what they're worried about. They're worried about lining their pocket. They don't care. You can come in with your food stamps and you can spend $100 on junk food and they're not going to care.
Mm.
They're not. And as far as wealth management, I really think that needs to start in school. The younger that we start to educate our youth on wealth management, the better they'll be when they're older. So I don't have children, but the things that I've learned as I've gotten older. I've tried to teach my nieces and nephews, the ones who I raise, is start your 401k early. You're going to get older. Just because you're 20 now don't mean 30 is right around the corner, regardless to you thinking that I'm old or not. Start your IRA, invest, do things like that, so that you won't have to worry about it later. Build wealth. Try to build your wealth track while you're young. Learn, get a mentor, and find people who can guide you in the right direction.
Well, and I could add, one of the things I think that's really important is making sure somebody knows what foods they're putting into their body and what it does to them. Because a lot of times I have patients come in who they're like, I want to lose weight, or I'm doing all the same things and it's just not working anymore. And when we take a deeper dive into what they're putting into their bodies, they don't realize there's so much hidden sugar in a lot of the foods that we buy right now. Mm-hmm. And so looking at the back of the labels and really just educating patients on, okay, this is a low glycemic fruit, because a lot of people think, oh, I can just eat lots of fruit all the time. Yeah, fruit's good for you, but it also turns into sugar when you eat it. Mm-hmm. And so you have to pair protein with your foods, like sugars and any fruits that turn into sugars. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And half the time, just kind of correcting some of those eating habits makes a big difference for somebody. And I don't know about you, but every convenience store I go into, it's like soda. There's like 5 different places you can buy soda. And it's like a thing, at least here in Utah. I don't know if you guys have heard of Swig or like Fizz, but there's actual shops, drive-through soda shops, and everybody gets them a lot of people buy them. Wow. And so if they don't know what they don't know, then they're not going to change. And so whenever I have a patient in front of me and we're talking about food and weight loss and things like that, we talk about nutrition, because that is where it starts. Mm-hmm. And one other thing is, our food just isn't what it was 50 years ago. I mean, we can grow our own food, but it doesn't have the nutrients that it once had. And so supplementation is also something that's important. And I stress that a lot too.
So in answer to your question, Joy, about where and how do we address this matter? I feel strongly that it's important to have community engagement. Mm-hmm. When you have those little community centers, and you have different presentations and conversations to a body of people, it provides the opportunity for that exchange and support system. Because I always subscribe to the mantra, it's important to stay healthy in order to get wealthy. Mm-hmm. Because I have clients who had the millions, and it's not such a joyous journey when you're being challenged with health issues. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, there are people who don't have the millions. They have their health and they're happy. So it's a blend. It's a conversation that has to happen collectively, and that's where I see the importance of this collaborative effort.
Mm-hmm. Could I combine something Sharnita said with what Ivor just said? getting it back to the schools, is there an opportunity for folks like you to come together and present a program, both sides, in a school setting? And
Absolutely.
so that we really start to get the message into the schools
I
and
feel,
have a program that combines all of this.
yeah, I feel that's definitely possible. There has not been, to my knowledge, the emphasis to do something in that manner,
Yeah,
but without
I
question,
agree.
because the doctors, for example, would have like a health day. We'll come by, we'll take your blood pressure and all that. Churches will do it, and they're isolated.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, and it's like probably in the fall or whatever. But
Mhm.
collectively, to see that health is important and connected very much to wealth, and
Mhm.
and not to have this thing about, oh, wealth, or you're just being materialistic, but your health is your wealth as well. You
Yeah.
know, you can, and I would say this: body, mind, and spirit, that it's important that those things, those three, to be healthy in them.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what's going to create wealth. But yes, without question, that I'm not familiar with that type of initiative being taken in the past, but without question, that would seem
Yeah.
to be very, very worthy of doing.
Yeah, that would be a
Mhm.
great, I mean, it's actually a great idea. Hadn't thought about it from that angle as well. I'm not sure if the other doctors did, but that's definitely a great suggestion.
Hmm.
It
Well, we have
definitely
the health
is. And the
pyramid.
question is, I'm sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
Miranda.
no, no, no. Sorry. I was just thinking, I remember being in school and we learned about the pyramid of food.
Pyramid.
Yes.
And like at the bottom of the pyramid, it was all bread. Like you should be
Mhm.
eating all this bread and grains
Right.
and really that is not what we are. I mean, at least for me, I'm not recommending that to patients hardly ever.
Hmm.
I'm saying, limit your breads, limit your pastas.
Mhm.
So I agree. I think that's how do we get to that point? Like who started this pyramid that we, do? I
Yeah.
know it's been
And,
modified.
and do they still have
Yeah.
a pyramid? Because I also remember the pyramid, but then when everything came against bread and sugars, or too many fruits, or too many cheeses,
Hmm.
um, I
Yeah.
haven't seen anything that's changed. I have 5 grandchildren, and I have not yet seen anything that has changed in the school structure. Maybe except for when Michelle Obama, and President Obama, when they were in the White House, and she put emphasis on it. But that's really, to be honest, the only and the last time that I've heard about something like that in the school system. And I hear what the kids eat. They have choices just to get pizza and burger or whatever they can get. There's a salad line, but they're not going to go in that salad line.
Yeah.
They'll
No.
be in the French fry line every day if
Yeah.
they have that choice. We didn't have a choice. You got to get the hamburger or you got the chicken. I mean, or just the hamburger, it wasn't a choice. So I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
especially with the late guidance especially starting from the medical field and combining it with the financial aspects of it.
But
I
then the next question after that is, what age group do you start at? Because if you think about it, we went outside and played, so we didn't have to worry about childhood diabetes or being overweight and things like that. Now, that is the majority of what's out there because the kids
It is.
don't want to move. They want to eat what they want, and they don't want to really,
Class.
eat anything healthy.
Mhm.
So at what age and what grade do we start the conversation and bring it into the schools and
I
begin the
think you
collaboration? Go
I
ahead.
think you bring it as early as possible. And, we, uh, our kids' school district is called Carroll State, is one of the wealthier school districts in Texas. And it's interesting, on one hand, there is a great initiative, I'm going to say initiative, for healthy eating in the schools. And why I put it in air quotes is because, yes, the food line, there are healthier options. And there are some unhealthy options, but there's a lot of healthier options, and there's a lot of emphasis on that. However, in the classroom, it's the complete opposite. When they have science projects, when they're doing all these other things, it's all sorts of colors, all sorts of processed food.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, my oldest son, when he was in first grade, for his birthday snack, he wanted to bring apples as a snack. And the school said, no, you cannot. It's not on the approved list. But what is on the approved list? A whole bunch of junk. And then
Mhm.
so even of the junk food options, I'm trying to find, okay, what is something that meets the criteria in terms of gluten-free, allergen-free, and all of that? I'm still not allowed to bring it because it's not the approved brand of something. And so I actually
Mm.
recently, a few months ago, talked to the director of nutrition of the school district. And she said to me, she was clueless. She had no idea that for birthday snack, this is how it is, or for the classroom things, this is how it is. And yet we're getting sent emails, please send a healthy snack for your kid, with these parameters so that when there's allergies, they don't get it. And so my children come home almost every day eating some sort of junk food provided by the school or provided by other parents of the school. And, I try and teach my children healthy choices, right? So at home, we're very restrictive. We don't allow them the sugar and all of that kind of stuff. But I want them to start making those decisions on their own. So I don't tell them at school, no, don't give my kids those things. And it works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work. But this also we've had this discussion also from the financial aspect, actually, with my own kids. So my youngest son last year in kindergarten, he decided, and the school year just started and we're already dealing with it, but he decided, you know what, I'm not going to eat my food that I take. I'm going to buy lunch, and I'm going to, sometimes throw it away or whatever the case is. And so we've had throughout the year discussions of healthy eating around this. Why do we take lunch versus buy lunch? If you're going to buy lunch, what are the better choices to choose? And towards the end of the year, already at kindergarten, we went to the discussion of, well, when you're older and you have a paycheck and you use all your paycheck, what happens? And if you go in debt, what happens? And who's going to bail you out? And, he had his tooth fairy money taken away from him because he had to pay for his lunch. And he understood it. He got it. And my oldest son, who at that time was in second grade, had reinforced some of the ideas because we started that discussion early. And I think it's never too early. And you start small, you start at their understanding level. And then over the years, you build upon that, and I think it is so important because if the entire family, to me, even when I go with my children grocery shopping, if they already have a basic understanding, of course, they're still going to ask for candy. They're going to want it, right? Of course, they don't want to be there with me, but they have to do that. But, I try and encourage the discussion about roles and responsibilities. And, if they have their own money, what choices do you want to make? And what alternate choices could you make? And it's a struggle. Many times it's a struggle. And like every other parent, there are times where I give into the struggle. But to me, I don't think there's a time that's too early to start. And I agree. I think the school is a great place that this all can be integrated.
I agree with that 100%. How do we get the parents involved in this? How do we get them as part of the collaboration? Because it's not going to work without them. We need the staff, the school staff. We talked about the director of nutrition. We need the entire school district on board, but we need those parents on board. And from that early age, I agree. I think it's never too early. Maybe we start them in nursery school, before they get into kindergarten, but at least no later than kindergarten. They need to start having some education around that.
And I'm in agreement with that. I believe that children start learning as soon as they're born, up until they're about 7. I think that's when they get, me not being a doctor, but I really think just looking at my own children, that's when they learn the most, it seems like. And
they're learning constantly.
Yeah, on both elements. So of course, me being in finance, my children knew all about that, but they also knew about healthy eating because of the fact that my family struggles with diabetes and heart issues. A lot of it is genetic. So for me, when I was when my children were home, I always kept fruit, and I still do to this day. My grandsons will come in, and if the apples are gone, well, where's the apples? Or where's the bananas? Because they know they're supposed to be here. But at the same time, I still have a few little treats around because I don't want them to feel completely left out from the other children, to feel like they're isolated. I want them to be able to have fun, but I want them to learn how to measure how much sugar that they're eating and question, is this healthy or not? And so that's the way that I battled it. But I think it does go with the parents, but it also starts with our public leaders.
Yes.
Because those are ones that really have the influence of the governmental offices. And so that's my 2 cents. I don't know. You guys may think a little differently.
We've got to recognize that within our society, there's an entity that is always pushing for more. And what do I mean by that? Those who lobby or sell to the school districts, they're not concerned about the nutritional intake of their
No.
students.
Mm-mm.
So I think that's where the first awareness or the pushback needs to occur, to let them be somewhat accountable for bringing nutritional meals to the school body, wherever they are. As a result of that, next you get the parents to give them a level of education, because sometimes they don't know. They don't know,
That's true.
like you were saying, the high
Many
glycemic
times.
index in certain fruits. People are not aware of that. And
Mm-mm.
you can, low glycemic versus high, and the impact and, repercussions of that. So that here again is that education is critical for people to make educated decisions.
Mhm.
And that's what is going to be needed. I mean, it's like being here in the tri-state area, New York, Jersey, and Connecticut, and you might have, there are so many, there are painted roads now practically. Here is the bus lane. Here is the bicycle lane. Here is this. Here is where you can park. And what I'm saying is that they eventually recognize, listen, we can sell more paint to the city. Put this one in this color. Put this one in this. And they just started to go like paint. We remember the old Beatles album when they're going across the road and you had the sidewalk with the white lines. Like every city, it's a safety measure, and I appreciate that, but there are lines that are necessary. So the point I'm making is they can sell more paint, they can sell more junk food to the school districts, not unless there's pushback to some degree of them being accountable for bringing the nutritional level of food into the school district. Those are the choices the children will have anyway, and then we're going to tell the parents why we are making these selections. But yeah.
But with that, Ivor, I agree with Joy mentioned it, and then Miranda also mentioned these things that I'm going to say. It starts with the government, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Miranda mentioned you have to read the label. There is so much, we're on live, mess in our foods. All the processed things, words you can't even pronounce. We have 30 ingredients. My niece and nephew, they went to Amsterdam. Then they happened to call. I said, so how's the food over there? Because when you go certain places, food tastes different.
Correct.
I said, are you reading the labels? What's on the labels? As a nurse, I want to know. Oh, they have 3 ingredients in their foods. And that's all they're allowing. But when you over here, you have 30 ingredients. And then after 20 years, this ingredient causes cancer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You couldn't figure that out 20 years ago and not allow it in our food. And why is that? So I think it starts at the government level, but we do have to be aware to reading labels and understanding the calorie intake and how much sodium is in it per serving and things like that. And people just don't understand some of them don't understand the concept, and those that do is like, I've been doing this all my life. My grandmother didn't read the label and she lived a long time, but as Miranda said, the food was made different back then.
It's made different, and they did a lot of their own cooking then. They didn't do a lot of fast food cooking. Yeah. And coupled with the government part, I think it takes caring parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles like ourselves to push the government to start doing something different, because they're not going to do something unless the squeaky wheel is squeaking very loud. Yeah. And I think that's probably where we have to really start, but it's a combined force if we really want to make changes for our children. But I'm in agreement with everything that you all said.
Yeah, but Joy, we're a society of convenience.
Yes, I was just about to say that is too hard.
That's hard.
We have so much stuff going on in our lives, that it's like, really, we're going to add one more thing on our plate. I think that's what a lot of people would say. Yeah. So that's a tough thing.
Right. So you can't even go to McDonald's. Oh. I'm sorry. You can't even go to McDonald's. Remember when McDonald's first came out, how small their fries were? Mm-hmm. Like, you can't even get a small fry from McDonald's half the time. You barely get it in the kids' meal. So there you have it.
That's true.
One thing I
Right.
was going to say was, I think there needs to be a lot more touch points than there are. And, the government is a very large entity. And we all have, I really think it needs to come back down to the city levels, the home, the schools, the grocery stores, the places that we're going every single day. There needs to be more touch points in things that how we're educating the public and people and in general. Like, I was just thinking, I had this patient particularly that has come to my mind. This mother brought her son in, and he was not even 5-6 years old, and he was very overweight. And she's like, I don't understand why, like, why is he overweight? And I said, well, let's take a look at inventory. What does he have for breakfast? What does he have for lunch? What does he have for dinner? And I was really appalled that this mother didn't know that, he can't have donuts for breakfast every day and ramen for lunch every afternoon, and then for dinner, mac and cheese. Like, when she kind of told me what he was eating, I said, wow, okay, I think I know what we can do to help you. Let's change some of the foods that you're buying for him, and, the chips and the soda and things like that. And this mother really, she truly did not know. She's like, oh, I did not realize that was so bad for my child. It's so good, and it tastes good, and he loves it. And so it really needs to be multiple touch points. It can't just be, it needs to be in the schools. It needs to be in every annual exam that when the kids are coming in or when the adults are going in, your primary care doctor needs to be talking to you about these things. And so I think there's so many touch points we could do and add. We just need to figure out how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of grassroots.
The committee is already formed.
Yeah. I see it in this room. I see a starting place.
Starts with us,
So with that said, thinking about community health and public health, we all have them in our city. I mean, I really would think going out on a community level and educating individuals about food and the different comorbidities, starting and parents bringing their children so that they can learn together and get healthy together is also a good way, because sometimes you may have to bring it outside of the school and just go into the community, because school is not the only place for the education to occur.
One thing that just came to my mind, because this is how it helped hormone replacement therapy kind of get out there for the world to see, is, Suzanne Summers is like the poster child for hormone replacement therapy, right? So she's a star. She's somebody with status. What we need to do is we need to get people with status talking about these things. And, because we've got our kids who are looking up to Taylor Swift, or they're looking at, all the different things, but that might be a place to start, because I know, at least in my space, hormone replacement therapy is still not fully embraced across the medical boards and across medicine in general. And Suzanne Summers was a big part of helping get the word out of, look, you know what, this is really helping women. And I don't know, maybe we try to get these
look into it
superstars to help us out with this.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
It makes me think also, TikTok. Lots of influencers on TikTok.
Yes.
Who could you find on TikTok as an influencer that could help carry your message?
That's true. Yeah. And if you get one of the influencers, that's where a lot of the kids are.
Yeah.
That's where they're at. That's where they are at.
Exactly. Not where I'm at, but it's where they're at.
Right. My grandson is always sending me something from TikTok that's nonsense, but that's so true. He's 8 years old, and that's where he's at. And again, I have not yet seen one of them come home to even talk about the 4 food groups, let alone anything else. I don't think they teach it anymore. I'm not sure, but I just don't believe that they do, because I haven't even heard about it.
Yeah. So you could embark on a study to see who some of those influencers are that the kids are really relating to, and have a campaign to reach out to them and see if you could talk to them about it, and sit down to the table and bring all these elements together and figure out how you move forward with this message. I mean, that's a great idea. You're doing powerful work. We just need to expand it, right? And we do that through collaboration.
Yeah.
What we do in the integrative and functional medicine space is all of these things. I mean, aside from wealth, I'm not teaching people about their money too much, which, hey, that would be a great way to do it. But integrative and functional medicine is really a more comprehensive approach to nutrition, lifestyle, education, and the people who are most commonly coming to me for that type of medicine, they're really engaged and they're action takers in their life, right? They want to be healthy. And so, we as clinicians can only do so much, right?
True.
We can lead the horse to water, but the horse has to drink the water. And so I don't know. I think I just wish that somehow the insurance companies are definitely not on board with this type of stuff because this is prevention, right?
Right.
But as collaborators, when the tide rises, all boats rise. So if there's enough of us out there talking about this and getting the information out there to people and to our patients, I think it really starts to become like a crescendo effect. And so, I mean, just starting with us, right, doing this, and I don't know, maybe we can throw together some sort of.
I was going to say some type of event or something. I'm already thinking we could do an event next summer, girl.
I'm thinking about like who are the meme makers? We need to make some cool memes, that
are
Yeah. I love what I'm hearing.
Do the event next year and bring Grant Cardone and Taylor Swift.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Who has a connection? Do we have
any football players or something like that? I got a couple of connections with some football players. A couple of them are my godsons there.
Hey, maybe I'll reach out to Hakeem Olajuwon and be like, "Hey, you remember me on that run?"
There you go. And I'll get my godson, who's a former NFL player, and let's see what we can do. And I'm serious. We can really maybe make an impact. Yeah. Really seriously, because as all my doctors on here would say, and even everyone else, I think we would say our health is now, we know, is all based on what we eat. We are what we eat. That's really true. And nutrition is first. And you can't even think straight about your finances if your mind is not, totally nourished, I should say.
Yeah.
So, and at the same time, then Ivor and I can slide in the finance part of it, finance that. But I think we know enough about nutrition as well. We're both pretty healthy people. So this has been a great conversation.
Yes. I can't wait to hear back what you guys come up with, because I think the opportunities for you to start this grassroots movement are huge. And I mean, it could be as simple as reaching out to those TikTok influencers like we talked about, reaching out in your community, in associations that you may be a part of, and reaching out and saying, hey, we want to bring this program. And you all kind of come together and create this program of education around these topics. And
I'm trying to figure out why the prophet doctor is trying to get out of it. You can't be the prophet doctor and not be in the doctor's group.
There you go. I'm happy to take part in it.
Congratulations to the both of you for your books coming out this week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Rice is this week. Later, I think you said Friday it's coming out.
Yes.
So there's a book that launched yesterday by Wiley Publications. It's titled Experiencing the American Dream. If I were to look closely at it, I do recall part of the book addresses the fact that his father did not allow us to have sugar, and he's speaking about kids. So here again, getting back to the point you were making about the parents, because you have much more control, more time that you're spending with that child. But getting back to the conversation on the topic of collaboration, this book basically addresses one's journey. So we can look at the journey of where we are, to what degree we've made successes, what degree we were challenged. And it does not only encompass wealth, it encompasses health as well. It encompasses choices. Did we make the right choice? Did we make a bad choice? One of the things he mentioned about, there's a kind of a bone disease that he was that came about as a result of being asthmatic and was taking a certain prednisone medication. And for taking it for so long, it started to break down at the hip. He had to have hip replacement. But going through the process of having this problem, why me, Lord? Why me and all that, until he walked into a place where there were young children having chemotherapy. They're so bold and they're playing and everything. Why can't I as a grown person? So he went on, did the surgery. But I'm saying all this to say is that his daughter was diagnosed with the same problem. And because of what he went through, he saved his daughter from being crippled for life because now he know what that medication would have done. But the journey experiencing the American dream is a very robust conversation that one can incorporate nutrition into it
Yeah.
because here again there are choices
Mhm.
in and here it is. It got it came out yesterday.
Awesome.
It's got endorsements by Rob Lowe, Gary Sinise, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Steve Forbes from Forbes
Some of
magazine.
those influencers we're talking
These
about.
influencers we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for him to reference in the book, our dad did not allow us to have sugar in the house.
Yeah.
Goes to show, so here again it can show from childhood being influenced the right way, like how you were saying, how you pronouncing that your last name, Naido?
Naidu.
Naidu, you were saying with your children, you tell them, and like you made reference to your nieces, and when they're in Amsterdam, Dr. Rice, did you read the labels? And you were saying only 3 ingredients. Is that consciousness, that awareness, and and that's no different than when the conversation starts to happen in the financial realm. What have you been oriented to believe that is true? That is
Exactly.
What's
not
that
true.
journey?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
This has been amazing. I can't wait to see where this goes because I think you all have so much to add to the process of making our youth, starting with our youth, improving their lives for life, not just for a day, not just for a week, but teaching them the habits that are going to help them have happy, healthy, productive lives.
Absolutely.
This has been an awesome conversation, but we're out of time. So we're going to start our wrap up round now.
Okay.
Joy, if you would please call on each person, including yourself, to share your final thoughts on collaboration and your contact information. While you're doing that, I'll plug in your details into the comments. Okay?
Dr. Lasantha, let's start with you.
All right. So I wasn't expecting to go first. But this is, of course, has been fantastic. And I think it really does bring up a great conversation. I resonate a lot with that, the tie-in between health and wealth. And it is actually, in my work, we do talk about that quite a bit also, and starting from young. And I think that this conversation has really made me think a little bit differently than I did before. And it brings me joy also to think that there are other people that share similar experiences, but also similar thoughts about these things, and that we're not alone, and that together we can make change. So that's fantastic. And then you can find me. My website is www.lasantha, that's LESANTHA.com. My email address is dr@lasantha.com. I'm a concierge physician at Executive Medicine of Texas. And if you're looking to buy my book, it is on Amazon. It is called Fat to Fabulous. And again, I'm the author. It is available today.
And what's so interesting, her book is about her own struggle when she was young, dealing with weight. So this is right on point for us, Dr. Lasantha. Dr. Sharnita.
Oh, yes. So this was fabulous, and I just really want to thank you. But I really feel that without collaboration, you really don't. It's hard to move without collaboration. We started the conversation today, but where does the conversation go from here? You want to connect wealth to health. Some people feel like I don't have enough money to purchase this, or this is too expensive. But how can we educate them? What's available out here to educate them to be able to get what they need to have and live a healthier lifestyle? And what education materials do we have to provide to parents to teach their their children, that we need to provide them with strategies to be able to follow the path that we were talking about today, whether it's through conversation or just going up and having discussions at the school. And my name is Dr. Sharnita Rice. I am a registered nurse, family nurse practitioner by trade, 17 years in the industry. I am CEO of Reassured Workforce Solutions, where we bridge the gap between cybersecurity and healthcare in order to protect patient safety, patient outcomes, and patient satisfaction. I am also the author of Shattered Peach, 12 Steps to Transition from Victim to Victorious, to help those who have been victimized through a sexual assault or even someone you know. And the book will be available on Friday.
Thank you, Dr. Sharnita.
Thank you.
Ivor, Mr. Ivor, can you go next?
Oh, certainly. Thank you again, first and foremost, for granting the opportunity to be a part of this. This was a collaborative effort on our parts, wouldn't you say? And the conversation about collaboration is essential. As much as we are in our own areas of profession or areas of specialty, without question, we all have blind spots.
Yes, we do.
And those blind spots can be addressed by collaborative efforts. That's one good thing about it.
Absolutely.
And in our professions as well, as much as we make, I would say, somewhat of an impact on individuals, we want it to be a radical impact when we meet with individuals for what we do, to really have them move the needle in their lives. But thank you again. My contact information, Ivor Lane, and my number is 973-415-8106. I work in a capacity as a fiduciary, as your strategic investment advisor. Strategies are important, as well as the fact that our website is intrinsicwealth-inc.com. Thank you again.
Thank you. And Dr. Miranda.
All right. Well, so I've been kind of thinking, what do I want to say about collaboration? And first of all, sometimes people don't know how to start collaborating. Like, where do you even start? And for me, it started with mentorship, finding a mentor that I could talk to. And then we get together with other people who are also being mentored by that same person. And that has been how I have found so many wonderful people, met so many wonderful people, just like you, Joy and Lasantha, and now Ivor and Dr. Sharnita. I can't say enough about getting yourself a good mentor, right? That's so important. And when you collaborate together, I agree, you have more minds are better than one mind, right? To figure out how to be better, how to help people better, how to transform lives, and how to help our communities. I mean, just like what we're talking about today. So, and that's what I strive to do in my practice, is help my patients transform their lives so that they can live healthier, happier lives. And you can find me on my website, www.astrahealthandwellness.com. You can call or text our office at 435-565-1384. And my name is Miranda Carlisle, and I'm a family nurse practitioner, and just absolutely grateful to be here and thankful for this opportunity to get to meet you all and collaborate with you all.
Okay. And I'm Joye Germany, and these are all of my friends that I have asked to come on and share some of their information and their insights on this lively topic that I didn't expect us to talk about, but I'm excited that we did. And I am so thankful to you, Regina, for allowing me to bring my friends to your platform and allow us to talk today. You've been amazing, and I'm so thankful for you. I, too, am writing a book. It's not out yet, though, and it's called I Am Women, How to Live Like a Woman on Her Own Terms. And it should be out in September. But you can reach me at 469-855-0475. My website is www.Joye Germany, and Joy is spelled Joye, the E is silent.com. And thank you again. I just cannot say thank you enough, Regina, for being the person that you are.
Thank you. That's so kind. It was an absolute joy to have all of you here today. Joy, I couldn't resist that. Sorry.
I know.
It was just too much. I couldn't resist.
Free marketing for me.
I love it. This was a great discussion. I can't wait to see how you take it further. And please, all of you, reach out and let me know where it's going and how it's going. I can't wait. There's a real opportunity here to change lives in the positive. And with that, we want to thank our viewers for being here and watching today as well. We hope you'll come back again to Collaboration Conversations, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Don't leave